rising the cost of the being homeowner.
But first, let's hit it. Hi, it's Alan Victoria. Welcome to our Talent Podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
I was making call text all the time, 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Don't forget to grab our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below. Now, I know before we start talking about all of this, we tend to not talk about the news too much. It's not what we do. But sometimes you do have to talk about what's going on in the housing market, and that's what this really is about. However, Greenville, we are very different from those West Coast, and that's how I'm going to begin that, and then we'll talk more about that later and how we're awesome here.
Exactly. Therefore, basically, these many of these statistics is based on the article that they publish. Also, they brought a lot of statistics from Redfin, and we want to talk about that. What the economists basically in 2023 they come up with that. Actually the rising cost of being a homeowner.
So those higher interest rates, what it is doing is making people come with extra money to the closing table, which means if you are on a fixed budget, it's pricing people out of the market. And that's just the truth. When we look at the data, we see that the average person makes about $64,000 a year nationwide.
No.
Sorry.
You need to make $64,500 to cover that 13% increase that we see in the numbers, and economists publish those articles, which translate this 13% something around $7,200 respect to the last year.
That's how much more money you're bringing right now with the filming of this video compared to last year when it was different, when the interest rates were lower.
And in this graph that we put in this video basically shows all the basically data from March 2022 all the way to June 2023, and you see
this is for starter homes, not for all homes in the market.
Exactly.
For starter homes in the market, and how much they were costing and how much they're costing right now.
Which we got to the $243,000 in the June 2023.
That's 2.1% more than last year and 45% more than before COVID.
Exactly.
And what's another issue going on with starter homes?
A starter home for you tell us.
That there's actually way less for sale. People are just staying in their homes. So the ones that do go for sale, more people are competing for those right homes, which is still pushing prices up.
Which in the other video, actually, we said that now 31% of the market in inventory and people that are buying is really brand new construction, because many of the homeowners, they are hesitant to sell their own home.
Now, we're very lucky here in Greenville because in other parts of the country, other states, they definitely do not have starter homes that are at affordable prices like we do here. But that is an option that is very much here, but that is not in other places.
Also, my wife mentioned about the higher interest rate, and that is what part of the deal is, the higher monthly payment. What is the higher monthly payment in this scenario?
For a first home with higher interest rates at the filming of this video with 20% down, they're looking at least for $1,610 per month, which is just in generalities. Your situation can be different, but this is 13% more than you would have paid before last year.
Exactly.
And a lot more, double since the pandemic.
Now, let's talk about some of the struggles for those of you that are seeking for home and you want to be a homeowner.
Right. So if you're buying a home, you have high rents all over the country. You do not have a lot of homes to choose from when you're looking to say you're going to buy.
Exactly.
So the rent in the U.S. is on average $2,053. If you're paying $2,053 in rent, please call us because we can get you a brand new house for $2,000 a month.
Yes.
Finding the first time home is hard for many people. That's why many people love Greenville.
Exactly.
And then the other thing is happening in real life is what?
Is basically the lockout effect, no?
Right. So home prices are going up, which means that people on a fixed budget cannot buy a home. So if they're making it people who are on a smaller budget, just homes are more unaffordable.
Exactly. And the next thing is for home sellers, no? That
right,
we wanted
and home
to
buyers need to understand this too, because people who are in a low interest rate in a home that they already own are tending to stay where they are. They do not want to leave their house. They do not want to leave their rate, which means just in generality, there are less homes for sale because people are not putting their homes up for sale.
And the next thing is really wealth gap, which is what it is.
Well, people already own their home and they're really already getting equity and they're building what they own and their home values are increasing. They're happier where they are and staying put and they're building more wealth for themselves than people who haven't already broken into the market. So the wealth gap is widening because there are people being priced out of the market.
Therefore, this gap is getting bigger and bigger. And for those of you that are renters, you need to take an action.
Now, we understand on the West Coast, that's what we're talking about now. There are differences, and we know in San Francisco, Austin, Phoenix, those are 3 different things. You guys were booming during the pandemic. You are not booming now. What is it? Why?
And the reason is the market really changed, no?
Right. So work from home. San Francisco is the head of the tech industry. Most of that is now work from home.
Yeah, Silicon
Valley, work from home. And then it's just a lot of people from before the pandemic.
With a high income, really.
Right. Austin, why were people moving to Austin? Because they were leaving California. Now that, it's kind of cooled down there, they're kind of coming up with their new normals there. So those cities, you do not need to earn as much as you did last year, but most cities are not those cities. Those are exceptions. The income you need in those cities actually dropped compared to places like here.
Exactly. For example, for San Francisco dropped by 4.5%, for the Austin dropped by 3.3%, and for Phoenix, Arizona dropped by 1%.
And just to give you some market data on why Greenville is way different from what we're talking about.
Exactly. This is the highlight our own market in North Carolina.
The median list price right now in Greenville at the filming of this video was $319,490. That's the median list price. The median sale price was $282,000. And we also want to say that there was the median home value is at least about $230,000. So we see $228,359. And so you are seeing, and then more than that, we have a lot of new construction. We have 2 months of new construction. We have 0.6 months of previously owned homes. It's just so that, and the average price per square foot of a new home is what?
Is $161 for the brand new home.
Okay, so we are definitely seeing we can get you a brand new home in the high 2s, low 3s if you're looking for that starter home, which is going to be difficult for a lot of first-time home buyers nationwide. We have that luck here that you have that option.
Exactly. Therefore, you need to pay attention to your market and what's going on. And also, as my wife said, is still many places that have an issue with their inventories.
Right. Now, we have great deals here. I'm happy to talk to you about why Greenville, Winterville, Ayden, Farmville, and all of my area is awesome, and we should definitely talk.
And don't forget to call us at 252-327-3357. Looking forward to talking to you, and have a blessed day and talk.